Yes, we're talking about the stunning wedding of Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo in 2025. An event that not only captured global attention but also left one man in particular completely shaken. Jung Ki. His reaction, caught by cameras and later analyzed by fans worldwide, has become one of the most talked about moments in the entertainment world. And let me tell you, lovely viewers, his response says more than words ever could. As you already know, Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's love story has been one of the most enchanting tales in Korean entertainment history. From private meetings to romantic getaways and secret gestures that had fans swooning, their journey to marriage was like something out of a beautifully written K-drama. So, when news broke early this year that the two had tied the knot in a breathtaking private ceremony surrounded by family, close friends and industry elites, the entire world went into a frenzy. Social media couldn't stop talking about it. But amidst all the joy and celebration, fans couldn't help but wonder, how did Jung Ki, Song Hye Kyo's ex-husband, really feel about all of this? At first, Jung Ki remained completely silent. He didn't post anything, didn't make any public appearances, and seemed to have vanished from the spotlight altogether. But as the wedding photos started surfacing, the elegant white gown, the emotional vows, and that unforgettable kiss under the falling petals, people began looking closely for any sign of his reaction. And then it happened. A fan account shared a video clip from a small film event Jung Ki attended just a few days after the wedding, when a reporter casually asked how he felt about his ex-wife's marriage to Lee Min-ho. His expression shifted in a way that said everything his lips wouldn't. He paused for a moment, smiled faintly and replied, "Everyone deserves happiness." But lovely viewers, it was his eyes. His eyes told the real story. They were calm, but behind that calmness was something bittersweet, something that seemed to carry years of memories and emotions. Fans across the world immediately began replaying that clip, analyzing every glance, every breath. Many said they saw pride and sadness mixed together, a man who had accepted that a chapter of his life was truly closed. And that wasn't all. Later that evening, Jung Ki posted something cryptic on his social media page. It was a photo of a sunset with a caption that read, "Some endings are the beginning of peace." That one post sent the internet into a whirlwind. Within minutes, his fans flooded the comments section, expressing heartbreak, sympathy, and admiration for how gracefully he was handling everything. Some even pointed out how poetic and dignified his reaction was. Others, however, believed it revealed the deep emotional weight he still carried for Song Hye Kyo. Meanwhile, sources close to Jung Ki revealed that he had known about the wedding long before the public announcement. According to insiders, he was personally informed by Song Hye Kyo herself weeks earlier. The conversation, described as emotional yet respectful, was said to have brought closure to both of them. One source revealed, Jung Ki had already accepted that they were walking different paths, but hearing it directly from her brought a wave of mixed feelings. He was happy for her, but also nostalgic about what once was. Lovely viewers, doesn't that tug at your heart? Imagine being in his shoes, watching someone you once loved deeply move on, not with just anyone, but with another national heartthrob. It's the kind of emotional moment that even dramas couldn't capture perfectly because real emotions like that are too raw, too human, and too complex to script. But here's where things got even more interesting. At Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's wedding reception, fans noticed something unexpected, a subtle tribute to the past. During one of the couple's speeches, Song Hye Kyo thanked everyone who had played a role in shaping her journey to love and strength. It was a mature, heartfelt acknowledgement that showed she had come to peace with every chapter of her life, including her past with Jung Ki. And that, lovely viewers, struck a chord not just with fans, but reportedly with Jung Ki himself. According to reports, when he watched clips of the wedding, he was moved by her words. One insider even shared that he said privately to a friend, "I'm glad she found someone who gives her peace." Those close to him described his reaction as reflective, not resentful. "He didn't cry or get angry," the insider continued. "He just went quiet for a while, like he was finally letting go." But let's talk about the fans' perspective for a moment. Social media was buzzing with divided emotions. Some praised Jung Ki for his class and maturity, calling his reaction a masterclass in emotional grace. Others, though, couldn't help but feel the lingering sadness behind his calm exterior. "He still loves her," one fan commented under his sunset post. "You can tell from the way he speaks about her, even when he doesn't use her name." Meanwhile, Lee Min-ho, ever the gentleman, was reportedly very mindful of Jung Ki's feelings. Sources revealed that before the wedding, he had a private conversation with Hye Kyo about how they would handle public reactions concerning her past marriage. He didn't want anyone to feel hurt or disrespected, a close friend said. He told her, "We're not rewriting your past, we're building our future." Those words alone showed the maturity and emotional intelligence that make Lee Min-ho the man fans deeply admire. As for Hye Kyo, she has remained graceful as ever. In a brief interview after her wedding, when asked if she had any message for her ex-husband, she said softly, "I wish him the same happiness I found." That single line resonated deeply across fan communities worldwide. It wasn't dramatic, it was sincere, and it spoke volumes about her growth and compassion. Now, lovely viewers, let's talk about that reaction moment again. The look, the pause, and the words, "Everyone deserves happiness." Those few seconds have been replayed millions of times online, dissected frame by frame. And the more people watched, the more they realized something profound. Jung Ki wasn't bitter. He wasn't angry. He was simply human, a man acknowledging a love that once was and blessing the love that now is. That's a kind of maturity that not many can show under the public eye. In the following days, Jung Ki continued promoting his film, appearing calm and composed, though noticeably more reserved. During one of his interviews, when asked about his personal philosophy on love, he smiled faintly and said, "Love doesn't end, just changes its shape. Sometimes it turns into memories, sometimes into lessons, and sometimes into quiet gratitude." Lovely viewers, isn't that just beautiful? That one statement alone captured everything. His acceptance, his grace, and his inner peace. And while Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo are enjoying their new life together, fans continue to admire how all three of them, Lee Min-ho, Hye Kyo, and Jung Ki, handled what could have been an emotionally messy triangle with such maturity and respect. There was no drama, no shade, just three people choosing kindness over chaos. Lovely viewers, don't you think that's what true growth looks like? Sometimes life doesn't go the way we planned, but it has a funny way of guiding us to where we truly belong. Jung Ki's reaction wasn't one of jealousy. It was one of release, of silent acceptance that love evolves, and sometimes the greatest form of love is letting go. So as we close this emotional chapter, let's appreciate the beauty of this moment. Not as a scandal, but as a story of love, loss, growth, and grace. Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo's wedding might have shocked the world, but Jung Ki's quiet reaction reminded everyone that healing too can be powerful. As the days passed after Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo's wedding, the public couldn't stop talking about the emotional undercurrent that seemed to connect all three stars. The internet became a whirlwind of interpretations, sympathy, and admiration. Fans began to see this not as a love triangle full of bitterness, but as a story of emotional evolution, of how three people learned to navigate the complexities of love, loss, and moving forward in the full glare of the public eye. In the weeks that followed, Jung Ki kept a low profile, focusing on his film promotions overseas. But everywhere he went, someone inevitably mentioned Hye Kyo's wedding. Journalists tried to be subtle, but his eyes always gave away more than his words. During a London press event, one reporter asked if he believed in second chances at love. He smiled faintly, paused, and said, "Yes, but not always with the same person." The crowd went silent for a moment, feeling the weight of that honesty. He then added, "Sometimes love's greatest purpose is to teach us how to love better the next time." Lovely viewers, isn't that such a mature and profound way to look at life? But behind that calm demeanor, insiders close to him revealed that there were still quiet moments of reflection. One close friend shared, "Jung Ki is not bitter. He just sometimes gets lost in thought when people bring up her name. It's not pain, it's nostalgia. You can tell he's found peace, but some memories never fade." Another insider even hinted that before leaving Korea, Jung Ki visited a place that held deep meaning for both him and Hye Kyo, a small cafe they used to frequent when they were married. The staff reportedly recognized him, and though he didn't stay long, he left behind a small handwritten note that simply said, "Thank you for the memories." That moment alone spoke volumes. It wasn't about clinging to the past. It was about closing the door gently, not slamming it. Lovely viewers, don't you think that's one of the most beautiful ways to let go? with gratitude instead of resentment. That's what made Song Jung Ki's reaction stand out to fans worldwide. His quiet strength, his grace, and his decision to respond with dignity rather than bitterness. Meanwhile, Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's newlywed life became the center of admiration. They were seen together on a short post-wedding getaway in Jeju Island, hand in hand, glowing with happiness. Fans noticed how different Song Hye Kyo looked. Lighter, freer, radiating a kind of peace that comes from being truly loved and understood. Lee Min-ho, ever the doting husband, was spotted adjusting her coat during a chilly evening walk, smiling as she laughed at something he whispered. It was clear that this wasn't just a relationship built on fame. It was something deeper. But here's where it gets even more touching, lovely viewers. During an exclusive interview weeks after the wedding, Song Hye Kyo was asked how she felt knowing her past was once again being discussed because of the public's fascination with her new marriage. Her response was calm, heartfelt, and disarmingly honest. "The past shaped who I am," she said softly. "I don't regret anything. Every experience taught me something valuable. And because of that, I was able to recognize the kind of love I truly deserve." Those words hit fans right in the heart. It wasn't just a statement. It was a reflection of growth, resilience, and emotional maturity. And interestingly, not long after that interview aired, Song Jung Ki liked a post that quoted her words. Fans went wild, interpreting it as his silent way of saying, "I'm happy for you." Whether intentional or not, it once again proved that between them, there was no hate, only understanding. Lovely viewers, that quiet acknowledgement was enough to melt hearts across the internet. People began sharing old photos of the former couple alongside new photos of Song Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho, captioning them with words like growth, healing, and the beauty of moving on. The tone of the public conversation shifted from gossip to admiration, turning what could have been a divisive story into a beautiful narrative about how love changes form but never truly disappears. As for Lee Min-ho, he reportedly respected Song Jung Ki deeply for how he handled everything. According to one close associate, Min-ho once said, "Real men protect peace, not pride." Those who know him say he never wanted to cause anyone pain and was touched by how gracefully Song Jung Ki responded to the news of the marriage. It showed mutual respect, a sign that love and decency can coexist, even in complex circumstances. And while the media tried to stir drama, fans were quick to defend all three stars. Many pointed out how rare it is to see such emotional intelligence and mutual respect in an industry where personal lives are often turned into public spectacle. One fan wrote on Twitter, "Lee Min-ho found his forever, Song Hye Kyo found her peace, and Song Jung Ki found his closure. That's not a tragedy, it's a masterpiece." Weeks turned into months, and while the frenzy around the wedding began to quiet down, one story continued to circulate. Song Jung Ki's rumored gesture of sending a simple wedding gift to the couple. Nothing flashy, nothing extravagant, just a handwritten note and a small white orchid. The note allegedly read, "May your hearts stay kind and your days stay gentle." Whether the rumor is true or not, it perfectly captured the spirit of who he is and how gracefully he handled the moment. Lovely viewers, this story reminds us that love doesn't always end the way we imagine, but that doesn't mean it was a failure. Sometimes, love's purpose is to guide us toward healing, to help us become better versions of ourselves for the people we'll meet next. For Song Jung Ki, it seems he found peace in knowing that someone he once loved deeply had finally found happiness. And for Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo, their marriage symbolizes a new beginning built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. But perhaps what's most beautiful about this entire situation is how it brought out the humanity in all three of them. In a world where public figures are constantly judged, here we have three people showing us that maturity and compassion can exist even in the most emotional moments. Instead of bitterness, there was gratitude. Instead of rivalry, there was respect. And instead of heartbreak, there was healing. Lovely viewers, don't you think that's the kind of story we need more of in this world? Love stories that don't just end, but transform into something meaningful. Stories that remind us that life is not about holding on forever but about knowing when to let go with love. So, as we look back on Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's stunning 2025 wedding and Song Jung Ki's heartfelt reaction, let's take a moment to appreciate the real message behind it all. That love, no matter how it evolves, always leaves something beautiful behind. What do you think, lovely viewers? Do you believe Song Jung Ki's reaction showed lingering affection or complete closure? Do you think there might still be a hidden friendship between them behind the scenes? Share your thoughts below because this story is far from over. One thing is for sure, their intertwined destinies will continue to remind us all that real love stories never truly fade. They just change their rhythm and continue to teach us about the beauty of the human heart. They linger, they evolve, and they keep finding new ways to teach us about forgiveness, destiny, and the power of emotional growth. As the weeks after Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's grand wedding passed, fans began noticing subtle signs that the three stars might not be as distant from each other as everyone thought. There were quiet gestures, indirect acknowledgements, and unspoken emotions that hinted at something more beneath the surface. It started when Song Hye Kyo posted a serene photo on her social media, a picture of the ocean at sunset with the caption, "Time heals everything, even the parts of us we thought were lost." That post instantly went viral. Many believed it was a message of closure and peace, not just for her past, but also for everyone involved in her journey. What shocked fans even more was that, just a few hours later, Song Jung Ki posted a quote on his own page that said, "Sometimes peace comes not from forgetting, but from understanding." Lovely viewers, you can imagine how the internet reacted. People began connecting the dots, suggesting that perhaps this was not a coincidence but a subtle sign of emotional alignment between the two, a silent exchange of respect, maybe even forgiveness. While the internet buzzed with interpretations, Lee Min-ho quietly supported his wife through it all. Those who saw them in public noticed how protective he was of her. During an event in Seoul, fans captured a heartwarming moment where Min-ho gently held Hye Kyo's hand and whispered something that made her smile softly. That simple gesture spoke volumes about their love, strong, secure, and grounded in understanding. It showed that Lee Min-ho wasn't just her husband in name, but her partner in every sense, someone who stood by her as she healed from her past and embraced a new chapter of her life. Behind the scenes, industry insiders revealed that Song Jung Ki was genuinely happy for them. One of his friends allegedly said, "He told us he's proud of how far she's come. He knows she deserves to be happy, and he's glad she found someone who makes her feel safe." Lovely viewers, isn't that the kind of grace we all wish for in love? To be able to let go and still wish the other person well? It's rare, but that's exactly what makes this story so powerful. However, the world couldn't help but wonder if Lee Min-ho and Song Jung Ki ever crossed paths after the wedding. Rumors started circulating about a possible brief encounter at an awards ceremony where both were invited. Though no cameras captured them speaking directly, a few attendees claimed there was a brief, respectful nod shared between them, a silent acknowledgement that carried no rivalry, just maturity. It was quick but meaningful, one insider revealed. There was no tension, just quiet respect between two men who understand what it means to love the same person in different ways. And that moment, whether real or symbolic, became one of the most talked about topics online. Fans from around the world flooded social media with messages of admiration, praising both men for their grace. One fan wrote, "They both loved her deeply. One was her past, the other is her present. That's not competition, that's the beauty of life." Another fan commented, "True love doesn't always mean staying together. Sometimes it means letting go and cheering from afar." Lovely viewers, isn't that something beautiful to think about? The idea that even when love ends, it can still leave behind something gentle, something pure. That's what makes this story so universal. It reminds us that every heartbreak, every goodbye, and every new beginning is all part of the same journey toward peace. Meanwhile, Song Hye Kyo has continued to shine brighter than ever. Her career is flourishing, her aura has softened, and her fans say there's a glow about her that only true contentment can bring. Lee Min-ho, too, seems to be at his happiest.